and Vugu Nyosi, Black Revolutionary Now. Just want to speak on the famous Central Park 5. And there's a lot of people who don't know about this case, but if you was around in the early 90s, especially in New York, definitely heard about this case. And I wanted to bring this video and bring highlight to the anti-Black racism, not only from the NYPD police department, but also Donald Trump and those racist prosecution who not only coerce these young men into confessing a crime they never commit, but you are the whole racist criminal system was bent hold in just convicting anyone. And for all these people don't know, these 5 young men, 4 was Black and 1 was Hispanic, and they range between 14 and 16 at the time. So these was young men who this criminal injustice system went after, because this white woman got beaten and grape. We all know what rhymes with grape. So I just want to highlight this because this is very important to the contrast of what we know this anti-Black racism have not only allowed this system of white supremacy to get away with for since time immemorial, but how this system perpetuates itself in racism. And we know a lot of cases of Black people go unheard. So check out this video, just a little clip on the Central Park 5 case, and we will come back to discuss the rest.
The Central Park jogger case terrified and enraged a generation of Americans a quarter century ago.
She was dragged down the bushes near what is called the lock, where she was beaten and sexually assaulted.
Investment banker Tricia Miley was almost dead when police found her. She came to personify victimhood in America's big cities. The 5 teenagers, 4 Black and 1 Hispanic, who were charged a few days later, came to personify white America's racial nightmares. They confessed.
I can't apologize because things is too late. All we gotta do is pay up for what we did.
The 5 would later claim the confessions were coerced, but they went to prison for long terms anyway. Then, 13 years later, they began to personify something else entirely. Matias Reyes, a serial rapist and murderer, confessed to the crime. His DNA matched what was found at the scene, and the Central Park 5 were cleared.
We didn't have the chance to become lawyers, doctors, police officers, firemen.
The 5 sued, but New York wouldn't settle. Then, this year, a new mayor took over and quickly paid up. The five will receive a total of $41 million.
7.5, got to get paid.
Today they celebrated and blasted the previous administration.
They did everything in their power to resist this type of resolution.
Y'all don't really understand what we went through. Y'all try to dehumanize us as human beings. People call us animals. Wolfpack. I have 4 sisters and a mother. I would never do anything to a woman.
As for the Central Park jogger herself, Tricia Miley never accused anyone. When she came out of her coma 12 days after the attack, she remembered nothing.
Yes, as you can see, young black men who was coerced into making a confession for a crime they never committed. And yes, they finally found the man who actually beat and raped this white woman. I think his name was Reyes or something like that. And obviously years later, after these young men served prison time, they was fully exonerated. However, when you look at this prosecutor named Linda Fairstein, she not only lied on these young men to get a confession, but she used her injustice system to put these young men in prison. It's crazy how when the crime doesn't fit some individuals, but they try to make up a story to make it fit. That's going beyond and above to convict black people for something they never committed. That's a different level of white supremacy and racism. Now, Donald Trump, yes, and we all know people saying, okay, Joe Biden have lost his mind, like obviously we all know, and he's not bringing no tangibles to black people. He's not even talking about reparation, whatever. So we all know his poll numbers is dropping. However, we're not gonna support the Republican anyways, because in 1989, I think, Donald Trump put out a full-page ad. Let me say it again. Donald Trump put out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the death penalty of these 5 young men. 5 kids. Barely teenagers, whatever, 14 to 16. And the thing is, he went with these other racist criminals who are in the justice system. But check this out. Even when these young men later on was fully exonerated, he doubled down. He doubled down. So all you black people who think that Trump is better or the Republican is better than the Democrats, these are 2 parties unified to one body. You have the left wing and you have the right and you have the right wing, who is still unified to one body of white supremacy and racism towards black people. So we just need to know this in 2024. So all you people who want to vote for Donald Trump and the Republican because you think he's better than Joe Biden, we all know that voting for one less evil is still evil. We're not going to vote for evil at all. Evil is evil, less or not. So we just want to make that straight. And this is very interesting because the same courtroom, or courthouse I should say, that the Central Park 5 got convicted is the same courthouse Donald Trump got convicted with his 34 counts. Yeah. Ain't that some karma? The same man who was calling for the death penalty of 5 young men got convicted in the same court. Very interesting. And one of the brothers from the Central Park 5, his name is Yusuf Salam. He's a congressman right now in New York. And he is basically not only fighting the injustice in New York City, but he helped bring awareness to the case, that he suffered, and when he was younger, and he tell a story when he went to prison, all kind of stuff, and I think they got rewarded. I think it was like $30 million or $40 million, whatever. So it's good to see justice finally get rewarded, to these young brothers who got wrongfully convicted for a crime they never committed. So I just wanted just to bring that story to you, and to let you know that we have to hold these people accountable, and wherever you at, we have to make sure we call out anyone. It don't matter how long the story is, because we have to bring it to the surface and to make sure these people, these white supremacists in the police department, in the courtroom, in government, wherever they're at, they need to be called out. And Vugu Nayosi, Black Revolutionary Now.